What's up, guys? Welcome to the ABNC show. My name is Zain Hashmi, and I'm joined always by Josh Sharp. Josh, how you doing, man?
Bro, it's hot in my room, man. I was just playing Call of Duty and I was getting shafted, so I'm not like in the best mood right now. Fuck that game, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. It's there's a storm going on outside. I don't know if you guys can hear, so if you hear rattling, I apologize. And joining us today, we have a very special guest, Alex Batts. Alex, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Really hyped to be on here talking about, what we have planned today. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
excited.
we've been slowly including a lot of the Media Byte writers. So
It's funny because, Josh and I used to be on podcasts pretty frequently,
hmm
but it's been a long time, so
this is
it's pretty
a
cool.
little
Yeah,
family reunion happening.
for some reason, I like to wait until the last minute to ask somebody to be on the podcast. I'm like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
you want to be on the podcast
Yeah,
today?
I know. I wanted. Yeah, like I asked Sean first. Like, what was it? But he got busy. So hopefully Sean will join us next week. But Alex, you're a cool guy. So
Thanks,
yeah.
man.
So yeah. Let's get on to it. It's official. Disney owns Fox now. Um, we got some thoughts. I think I'll play like the good card on it. But Josh, overall thoughts on Disney now acquiring Fox. We've heard about over 4,000 people losing their jobs. This production company known as Fox 2000 getting shut down. Like, what do you make of all that?
On the surface, I think yeah, it's cool. Marvel, the MCU gets the Fantastic Four, the X-Men back. Like, yeah, that's all well and fine,
Mhm.
but like, I feel like when you dive down into the deeper aspects, like this, just I'm just not a fan.
Mhm.
Because what now? Disney owns, I think it was 30% of the entertainment industry now.
They own 40 to 50% of the box office market, and I'm pretty sure like 50% plus stake in Hulu now also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
like
own the majority of Hulu now, 60%.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just too much, and like, of course, not all the films are gonna be the same. But when like I don't know, man. Like I feel like I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because I'm a DC shill or something like that. I mean, I am a DC shill. I'll happily sub it any day.
Your account's name is DCU News.
Yeah, that's about right. Um, I don't know, man. I'm not really a huge fan of it.
All right.
Like I said, on the surface, it's cool. Doctor Doom and Magneto get to face off against fucking, I don't know, Rocket Raccoon or some shit.
Mhm.
But you've got like all these people are like losing their jobs because Disney just wants to have more money, um, and they're shutting down studios that they said that they wouldn't shut down when the merger was like initially like set to happen. Um, so yeah, I'm a mixed bag for me.
Alex. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm pretty much.
Alex.
uh, yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. Like I just think that's too much for one company to have, just straight up from a looking at it at a monopoly standpoint. And the same can honestly be said about the AT&T and Time Warner merger that happened. I don't know if it was last year or the year before at this point, but and that's really what like set the precedent for this, because like when that went through, it was pretty certain that this would get through all the stages too. And yeah, it's a lot. Like like we said, like 40 to 50% of the box office market, like that's so much. And
It's
then
all Disney now. Yeah.
yeah, like they're literally gonna get all of the money from the Avatar sequels, like as if they didn't already make enough billions from uh the Marvel like franchise. So and they get that, they get Planet of the Apes, they have The Simpsons now, like they have
They have Family Guy.
yeah, they have Family Guy, like they have they have Fox, like they bought Fox.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's just a lot from them. I also have to be like blunt. I'm not the biggest Disney fan. Like I like a lot of their movies and I think that they're good. I don't think that a lot of Disney films are like, none of them are really my favorite movies. I don't consider them kind of like top tier. And not that any Disney movie really is bad. I like a lot of them, but it's just kind of like what Josh was saying with the creativity aspect and the variety, I guess. It's not that there won't be and that there hasn't been before and like that there can't be. It's just that on the whole, as a track record, Disney would, I think, rather play things safe than venture out a whole lot. Like, there's no way we would have got a movie like War for the Planet of the Apes with Disney in charge of the Apes franchise. And that's one of my favorite movies ever. So just like things like that, and that especially like applies to the acquisition of Fantastic Four and all the X-Men characters and things like that. I've really liked what Fox has done with all those movies. There's definitely been some missteps. I can
For sure.
Fan four stick.
Yeah.
But I would rather have a lot of like bad movies and one movie that's like a masterpiece, Logan,
Agreed.
than have just a long line of like, yeah, they're okay or good, like, and so I don't know. That's kind of like my thoughts on that part. And I will say I'm very excited. I think Kevin Feige has spoken to Noah Hawley about the status of the Doctor Doom movie. So it may still, become a thing. That's the one I'm pulling for the most. I want. I mean, we'll get him eventually now, but I really wanted that Doctor Doom solo.
Same.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
It was being done by the same guy who was doing Legion.
Yeah, Noah Hawley.
Yeah, the showrunner for Legion and
Fargo.
Fargo.
The show's
just an
crazy.
amazing creative talent,
Right.
and what he was describing it as, like, yes, please. So I don't know. I hope we still get that. I mean, honestly, like the fact, as many complaints as I have with it, and of course the loss of jobs is something that's not. I don't really like that, and some people will say that the merger was like bound to happen, and it's like, yeah, at a point, because Fox, I mean, they knew that Disney would want them, and that's a really easy way for the high up people to make a lot of money without really doing anything. And so they did that, and then also Disney shutting down sections of Fox that they said they weren't going to. That's not cool. But
I'm sure. Like, look, they're still figuring it out. They literally just bought them last week, and we know, I think their long-term plan is they're just cutting what's not necessary. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Disney own Miramax at the time, and like they made movies like Good Will Hunting and all that?
That I don't know.
So I feel like
not off the top of my head. At least.
I think what's gonna become of Fox is gonna be like the Miramax. Like, if I'm remembering correctly, Disney owned something that always made like these rated R movies, like artsy movies, indie movies. So I feel like Fox will become something like that. I feel, which is I think fine, but I think Disney mainly bought Fox for the IP that they can use for their streaming service, what they can control, what goes to Hulu and what can go on to Disney Plus, like what properties from the Fox library that are probably a little bit pushing the boundaries of the family-friendly content that they want for Disney Plus, they could easily put on Hulu. So I feel like, from a business standpoint, it makes total sense for why Disney would want to buy Fox, to like make Disney Plus the like ultimate streaming service, and like why they would elevate Hulu even more to be like this truly like big Netflix killer, if you will. But obviously, the big conversation amongst the fans really is the whole like Marvel thing. And that's cool. I mean, I'm happy that Kevin Feige finally has free reign on the X-Men, even though he's like, yeah, we're still, thinking about it. He has a plan already for when they're going to get introduced, and hopefully we'll get a good Fantastic Four movie. And
Hey man, the first one always hold a special place in my heart. As bad as that movie is,
I mean, I can't even deal with that movie.
Yeah, I can't.
As bad as that movie is, I actually watched it pretty recently too.
The first Fantastic Four, like the Toy Story one, yeah.
Yeah, the one with that really shitty Doctor Doom, but that's still like the closest comic book accurate Doctor Doom we've gotten so far.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
sorry, Toby Kebbell. But
what was that?
I don't know.
What was that?
It was like a trash can, like compacted together. It was weird.
What's really funny though is because remember the little clip that they released of quote unquote Doctor Doom breaking out of that like facility. Everyone was just like, "Yo, this looks so cool. This looks badass."
It wasn't.
And I was one of those idiots. And then the movie comes out, and it's just fucking trash.
The movie was garbage, and
I still haven't even seen it.
you're not missing out. You're not missing out.
Wait, you've never seen Fan Four Stick?
No, I haven't.
You don't need to, man. You don't need to.
Dude, just like get some drinks in you, man, and just watch that shit. It's so bad.
I mean, I don't
No.
want to pay for it though. So
I
No.
got you.
There's other ways. There's other ways. But what was I gonna say? I don't hate Fantastic as much as most people. Like, I don't think it's the worst comic book movie ever made or anything like that. I'd say like the first 30 minutes is fine, but then
I mean, that's the general consensus, honestly.
Yeah, I think the first
30 minutes is fine.
yeah, but like once there's a
Time jump.
There's once the time jump hits, you could tell like reshoots happened. You could tell like yeah, this movie's not good. And then when Doom shows up, it turns into a shit show.
I think I when Kate Mara, when she was playing, who was she playing? Invisible Woman, right?
Sue Storm, yeah.
It'd be like one scene, her hair would be like in a ponytail, and then literally the next scene,
Like the next
in the
angle.
same conversation,
The next angle.
her hair is like down. I was like, oh.
And the
my
colors
God.
of her hair kept changing and all that.
Yeah,
And
it
it
Michael
was
B.
bizarre.
Jordan was like the best part of the movie.
Oh, yeah,
And again,
yeah.
Michael B. Jordan's pretty much the best part of any movie he's
Yeah,
in.
put
so
him in a
it's
shit
not-
movie, he's the best part. So
Yeah, Black Panther. I'm kidding.
no. Hot take.
Boom.
I'm
Yeah.
I think I've said this on the show before. I'd rather see the Fantastic Four come first because, sure, he has the X-Men now, but at least let's give it a break. I feel like the Fantastic Four deserve a proper movie. Like,
Plus you have Dark Phoenix and New Mutants coming out this year. Like,
is
there
New
might
Mutants
be
coming though?
X-Men fatigue, I
maybe
guess.
to Hulu.
Yeah.
Dump it to Hulu. But yeah, it's weird how Disney's gonna end up releasing Dark Phoenix. Technically,
That was funny.
that's so. They're like, here we go.
I'm surprised they didn't delay the merger just so they don't have to fucking
Be
deal with
like,
that movie.
we will be done in March, but can we be done like
In, like,
July? When does Dark Phoenix come out? They
I
keep
think
pushing.
June.
They keep
It's
pushing
either
that.
June or May, something like that.
They keep pushing both Dark Phoenix and New Mutants.
Dang it!
I mean, New Mutants has been pushed pretty indefinitely for.
Yeah, I don't see that movie coming out in theaters, man. As
I
much
mean, I
as
was so excited for that film too. I'm
That
bummed.
yeah, the trailer was pretty good, and then we hear all these things. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah, Dark Phoenix comes out June 7th.
June 7th. Yeah, let's push the merger to June 8th.
Yeah, right.
I'm just trying to
No,
think.
I mean, I'm gonna be so mad if New Mutants doesn't come out in theaters because I think that Anya Taylor-Joy as Magic is perfect casting.
hmm
Who's that again? I'm sorry.
Was in Split.
Oh, that
Yeah,
girl. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the cast is great. I'll argue like that first trailer, like from like 2 years ago, when the movie was supposed to be out by now,
Yeah, it was
is actually pretty good. I really liked that trailer. Like I really dug the vibe of this horror like mental asylum, like that. It sounded perfect for what they were going for, but it keeps getting pushed, and then like you hear that they were supposed to do reshoots in November, but they didn't end up doing them. It's just really worrisome.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like,
but-
You're right now. The New Mutants has a August 2nd release date. I guarantee it is not. If it does, I'll freaking see it. I'll be there instantly.
I'll be
But,
there,
like,
but
surprised if it gets that.
I
Yeah.
think it looked like it was a cheap movie to make too. So I feel like Disney wouldn't you lose too much if it goes straight to Hulu. But Dark Phoenix is a movie you have to put in theaters because of all the money that went into it already.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed. Look, even if the movie's shit, the movie's gonna make like at least $450 million worldwide, easily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's that. I don't know. I'm excited for as much as I don't like a lot of things about the merger overall. Like, I mean, as a comic fan, like it's gonna be cool seeing the Fantastic Four and X-Men and Avengers like all together. So we'll get that eventually at this point, and like that's just crazy.
You know the one thing that kind of I don't know why I literally just realized this, but by the time the X-Men are like in the MCU and like fully integrated, Iron Man's going to be gone, Captain America most likely be gone, Thor most likely will be gone, so we won't be able to like see like Cyclops and Captain America just like coordinating and being strategic and stuff. So that's going to be a bummer.
I think it'll be a while certainly before Disney touches Wolverine. I think they'll touch the X-Men like hopefully after Fantastic Four, but I think they'll introduce Wolverine much later. Like, but they still introduce the X-Men, like Cyclops at the forefront. That's what I want. I want Cyclops in the forefront. Take a break from Wolverine. Like, get Hugh Jackman out of our brains because Logan just came out. like 2 years ago.
See, the thing is, no matter how much time passes, you're always going to connect Wolverine to Hugh Jackman. There's nothing you can do to
X-23.
change that.
Like, that's just... You can still have a Wolverine character, you just make it not Logan.
But then people will be like, "Where's Logan?" It's gonna become like this thing. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Isn't that kind of funny though? Like, an actor did so well with a character that recasting him is just like next to impossible.
That's true. Like how long has Hugh Jackman played Wolverine for? Like almost 20 years.
2000. Yeah, it was like 20 years almost. It was since 2000.
Whenever I type in Hugh Jackman, my fingers automatically go to Huge Jackman. I don't know why.
Huge Jackman.
Huge Jackman every time, every freaking time. But
Yeah, man.
he's played him for a solid. Let's see. When did Logan come out? 2016, 2017?
17 years. That's still quite an order. And to keep that physique that he has to, like, he has to be like in tip-top condition. Like,
eating fucking like
not junk food,
like,
not
seasonless fucking grilled chicken and stuff. Like, oh, I'm like, man,
not Cheez-Its, that's for sure.
Not those cheese nips, man.
But yeah, was there anything else before we get into the big story of the day? Anything else?
Nitty gritty.
Yeah,
I think that was pretty much everything for
Josh.
the merger.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
All right.
What? Oh no! I've got nothing else to add to that.
All right.
I mean, like the merger's cool and all. Just based
Oh
off
yeah, I did want to ask one
X-Men,
thing.
but
I did. So clearly, this was all like they were clearly thinking of Disney Plus and Hulu. So, day one, are you guys going to be subscribing to Disney Plus?
No.
I mean, it'll have the Mandalorian, so.
Wait! Mandalorian's day one?
I don't know if it's day one.
They haven't announced yet. I'm willing to bet it will be though.
Yeah, like I mean, they got it at the end. I mean, like I'm a Star Wars chill, so yeah, they got me. Oh, and then also the Loki or not Loki, the Scarlet Witch and Vision show, and then also the Loki show.
Is that even a thing? Is that really happening?
Yeah,
actually,
like they had Loki has a writer and Loki has a showrunner, I think, and Scarlet Witch and Vision have also a showrunner.
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm very curious as that whole Vision and Scarlet Witch is gonna go down.
I think it'd be pretty dope.
Your resident Scarlet Witch show right here.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one out of those things that I'm actually interested in is the Mandalorian. I don't give two shits about Loki, honestly. I'm so tired of seeing him.
Dude, we can get like Valkyrie and then also Lady Sif and Angela and a bunch of other Asgardian characters, especially if it's set in the past.
And they're also talking
I'm still waiting for you to name a character that I give a shit about.
Well, they are talking about doing a Rocket and Groot show. That's just a rumor.
See, like, that's cool. Like, I like that. That's a good idea.
That's okay.
I think Rocket and Groot is
better than Loki.
I'd rather take a Rocket and Groot show over a Loki show. Even though I'm excited for the Loki show. I'm excited for the Loki show.
Loki over Rocket and Groot, but I also like dramas and stuff more than I do comedy. So
fair enough. I guess that's all like a preference thing. Josh is broken.
I'm sorry.
Dude, I love Norse mythology a lot, and so it just that's my thing. So.
And like the like I don't know if this was confirmed. I think this was just a rumor, but like the rumored like what is it, like the what the show's rumored to be about is how Loki has influenced like like the past events that's happened in our world. Like he could have influenced World War II, he could have influenced the Cold War, he could have influenced.
There's so many cool things you can do with Loki.
Yeah, it's exactly.
He's old.
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, did we lose Alex?
No, he's still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was just the end of my.
Oh, okay. You just ended kind of abruptly. My bad. Josh, did we get too excited for the Loki show yet?
Did I get too excited for the Loki show?
Yeah, because we were just saying like how he could influence like.
Oh yeah, no, I'm still not interested. I need to see like footage, dude. I need to see footage. I'm not gonna.
But the difference between like your Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Defenders, Kevin Feige is directly involved with these shows, so I mean, hopefully that shows. Fingers crossed.
I can see it happening.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Day one, I'm signing up for Disney Plus.
So, long way to answer the question. They probably do have my money on day one, unfortunately.
If they have the Mandalorian day one, put me down for a subscription. If not, I'll wait.
Well, I think Mandalorian's gonna be the first show that hits Disney Plus.
Well then, hello Disney, please ravage my wallet because I will absolutely buy a subscription because I I love bounty hunters, dude. Bounty
I
hunters
wonder
are
how
awesome.
expensive it's gonna be.
Someone said it's gonna be less than Netflix.
But yeah, I think like Disney themselves has actually come out and said it's going to be cheaper than Netflix. They haven't set a price,
Dude,
but yeah.
I mean, that's
And
that's an easy
Netflix-
decision.
The Netflix is what, $9.99 now?
No, it's gotten way too expensive now. They're constantly
It can
upping
be
the
like-
prices.
Yeah, it's like 13 or more.
Hey, bro, I just finished the Umbrella Academy, so I think it's worth my money.
I
Mhm.
can't. I just can't get into it. I don't know.
Dude, okay, which episode are you on, real quick?
I'm not on an episode. That's how not into it I've gotten.
Okay, well, what was the last episode you
You'd
watched?
rather watch the Loki show, Josh.
No, the Umbrella Academy. I straight up haven't watched any.
What the fuck?
That's what I was saying.
It's
dude.
so
Let's go.
wacky and so bizarre. I actually really like
No,
it.
the thing is, the first couple of episodes, because I went, like, the first couple of episodes were a chore to get through. I will admit
See,
that.
no, that shouldn't be. Get me from the beginning.
But, like,
Don't make me sit through hours of stuff I don't want to see.
Mm.
My time is more valuable than that. Come on.
oh, man. Yeah, I mean, like, the second half of the season is really, really good. Like stuff picks up. It's crazy. I watched it. I finished it yesterday.
I'll start it on episode 6.
Oh,
Actually, no, start on episode 5. Start on episode 5.
I really dug the show, but that's just me because I was into the tone right away. But all right, Josh, you're taking this one. This is probably the craziest fucking story I've heard all week.
Yeah. All right. So this past weekend, Zack Snyder held like a kind of like a conference slash like what would you call it? Just
It was like
conference?
it was a charity event basically. It was-
Okay. Oh.
yeah.
Oops. Yeah. Okay. So he held a charity event.
He held a conference in
My bad. Okay. I've heard it been described as both. So okay. So he held dang it. He held a charity. He had like a charity event where he showed off the director's cuts for his films, Dawn of the Dead, Watchmen, and then BVS. And during the BVS panel slash like Q&A, of course, people were going to ask about Justice League because that's pretty much the
Hot topic.
huge elephant in the room, the hot topic when it comes to WB and Zack Snyder and that whole thing. And he surprisingly revealed a hell of a lot more than I think anybody kind of really expected him to.
Yeah.
There was no mention of a Snyder cut, so I'm just gonna get that out the way now. There's no like official statement from him saying that the Snyder cut is coming out or anything like that. But he did mention a couple of the things that would happen. One of the things that he mentioned was that he was going to go back to the nightmare sequence that we saw from BVS, the whole little dream sequence. And that in that future, Superman has succumbed to the anti-life equation, and Darkseid has taken over Earth. Most of the Justice League members are dead, and Cyborg is working in the Batcave with Batman to figure out a way to send Barry Allen back in the past to warn Bruce, so they can figure out all that other happy bullshit, so they can not have that future come to fruition. So they're talking about, there's like 2 points of Earth that like you have to jump through, but they have to be like lined up like perfectly, and just like a bunch of other stuff. And then like Darkseid himself jumps and boom tubes into the Batcave to kill Lois. But before that happens, Barry Allen gets sent back into the past and warns Bruce. There's like stuff talking about like just like, oh man, there's a lot freaking here, man.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's like oh my lord, I'm like reading all of it and just like getting lost listening to it or like reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the whole like when Superman had Batman chained up and he was just like, she was my world and you took her from me. It was Bruce's job to protect Lois and she died, and that's why Superman tries to kill or does kill Batman in that whole future. So there's a whole lot going on there. Like Zack Snyder mentioned that the script that him and Chris Terrio originally wrote before BVS was done was their plan for Justice League, but when they brought it to WB, they thought it was so crazy and just so bizarre and out there that they made them redo it. So technically, the version of Justice League that Zack Snyder did shoot wasn't really his full vision. It was just like this tweaked,
It was Diet Justice. It was the diet version of it.
Yes, it was Diet Dr. Justice League, and that's kind of sad.
Diet Justice League cut in half.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, there's all that. So I'm gonna let Alex start this. So
Yeah,
Alex,
go
ahead
for it,
and
Alex. Panel's yours.
tell me what your thoughts are about this.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about this. First off, just the fact that, like, I've said this for a while when I'm talking about Justice League, but that the original version of Justice League died whenever BVS was released to the reception that it got.
Right.
So it's pretty cool that to have Zack like actually pretty much saying that. And oh, dude, what I would give to have gotten this version of Justice League, like the fact that Darkseid just shows up. Basically, I mean, because it was going to be part one of a two-parter.
Yeah, so we're under. This is I do have a quick question because I guess it wasn't clarified. All of this was not like the whole Darkseid and like the half of the cyborg. This was gonna happen in part 2, right?
This was part 1.
I know. Yeah, because he didn't mention that this was a part of part 2. He literally was just talking about Justice League, the Justice League that him and Terry.
Really? So, okay. I assumed this was gonna be like in the sequel or something.
No, dude, the first Justice League was going to be a hell of a lot more ambitious than we ever anticipated.
Because I guess when I read it or like heard about it, I was like, okay, part 2, that would have been dope. But okay, I'm taken aback by it now. I'll have to rethink everything.
I mean, so I just see it as like the movie basically starts and pretty early on, like Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave and kills Lois, and you know that leads us down the nightmare sequence. So basically, like part 1 would have been a nightmare sequence movie, essentially. Like it would have been us getting to that point, and then I can see them at the end doing what Josh was talking about, how they need to send Barry back, but there's only like 2 different points he can go to, and like Zack was saying that Barry like asked Bruce Bruce asked Barry which one, and he was like, well, which one would you choose? And then he was like, I'm gonna go with the opposite one, because the first one that we saw was the one that they originally did. Like, is the scene that we see in BVS, and so we see obviously that it like doesn't work completely because Superman gets killed, and so then he was gonna have to go back, and like just the fact that we were gonna get this version of Justice League where one we would already have Darkseid on the big screen. Like if we were to get this, we would have seen Darkseid in the movie by now. Like so, I mean that's just that's
pressing.
Such a hard pill to swallow. But so we would have had that, and like I love the idea of the first encounter with Darkseid, like they just get destroyed because it makes sense. Like they are so unmatched with like up against him, and they are so unprepared. They don't stand a chance, and so like I like seeing the fact that they would just be completely destroyed basically from the get go, and then it would turn into this huge time travel adventure with like Flash, Cyborg, and Batman trying to go back and fix the way that everything went. And then I would imagine the part 2 would be that happening and them eventually defeating him. He obviously didn't talk like super far into what his plan was, but yeah, just the fact that this is what he had planned, like it's so insane. But I mean I love it so much. It pays off on what the nightmare sequence set up in BVS. Like I think it's such a genius way to do it. Like and seeing an evil Superman or a Superman succumb to the anti-life equation would be crazy. And I totally understand why the studio wouldn't want to go for this, because it definitely, I mean, like even just seeing the reactions that people have had online to him talking about it, like it's divided people more about what they think of his plans to the movies. And so it definitely would have been super divisive, but at the same time, I don't like they would have made money on it. The BVS made like 400+ million profit, I think, and then Justice League even still made some profit, not a lot, but it made some. And those are about as big of a disastrous opening as you can have for something of like a movie of that scale. And so I think that it definitely would have made profit. And I think also like just the way that this is described, I think people would see this in theaters and they'd be like, you gotta fucking see this shit. Like I might not have even liked it that much, but just what they're doing here, like, and so I don't know. I think
it's like Lord of the Rings-esque superhero.
It was all mythological, like very.
Yeah, it's not like it's not a superhero movie. It's an epic. That's what Zack Snyder was trying to create, and because WB got scared, they didn't want to be too ambitious because they were just like, oh, we need to stay with these certain parameters because this vocal group of people didn't like BVS because it was dark and gritty and blah 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 blah. Like what the fuck ever, dude? Like if you've committed to a director's vision, follow through with that vision because that small group of people that don't like the movie don't speak for the majority. Yeah. And WB allowed that pocket of people to dictate how the DCEU has evolved since that movie.
I think I disagree where like a lot of people didn't like BVS. Like a lot of people.
I think the thing, like my main point with it is that I agree with Josh. Like, you should follow through with it, especially because it's not like he was like, yeah, I want to do this, and I want to do this forever, and like constantly be making things like this. Like, he had a very set end goal in mind. Like, this was going to be 5 to 6 movies, and like that was it, and it would have been done.
I think what Warner's what wanted was like, you know, an expanding universe, like for the next 10 years.
See, but that's also a problem because I'm almost certain that Zack Snyder had this planned out when he signed on for Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't pull the stuff out of his ass after Man of Steel and go, oh, hey, yeah, no, I only want to do 5 films. There's a reason why Ben Affleck only signed on for the small group of movies that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Affleck didn't want to do some extended contract with him showing up in 10, 15 movies and him playing this part for 10 to 15 years.
And this
there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I don't see why people think that, like, this was, like, some, like, plan that came up like halfway through to only have a certain set of films.
And it's kind of also like when you look at the timeline now, like with all this in mind, it all kind of makes sense. Like, Ben Affleck was gonna do the Batman, and it was gonna come out it was gonna come out after Justice League, the first Justice League.
Yeah, but it would have been before the second one.
It would have been before the second. I'm forgetting when it was dated. So
It was like November or something.
It was like, I think it was somewhere in 2018, I think. Right? And I don't know if there was like...
Sure. No, it was 2019.
2019.
Like, we'll be getting Justice League Part... Damn it! We'll be getting Justice League Part 2 this year, man.
But, like, when you look at the timeline, like, in 2016, like, you know, that's when BVS was coming out, right? That's when Ben Affleck was, like, on it. But, like, once BVS came out, and when the plan changed, that's where you could tell Ben Affleck was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to direct this thing. The script's not in a, you know, good place and all that. So clearly, you know, I think, you know, the moment BVS came out, Zack's vision for the DC EU was dead on arrival. Yeah. And that's
straight up.
We kind of knew that already, as if, like, you know, they're recasting Batman now, and there's talks that Henry Cavill's not coming back as Superman, and so on and so forth. So it's timeline in terms of the timeline of when we're like what Zack was doing, and you know, I'm going blank. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Like when everything started to go down, you know, he didn't like say when they decided to change their minds on like this vision. Did he say, was it before BVS or after BVS came out?
It was after BVS came out.
So that, I'm still confused by how all that happened, because they had to have settled on a story because they were shooting Justice League on like the month after BVS. That's something I actually, that was brought to my attention. They started shooting Justice League 2-3 weeks after BVS came out. So how much could you have changed after BVS came out? Like, you can't, like, it's just a lot of work to do a major overhauling rewrite.
Well, the thing is they were probably still working on the Justice League script while BVS was filming. Like I don't know. That's actually very interesting. Unless he was doing, like, you know, on-set rewrites.
I mean, which happens. Like, there's always on-set rewrites, always, for every single movie. There's a reason why there's a thing called on-set writers. So, you know, like, some. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't really know. Like, they might have said no to it a little bit before, but I think that, especially like after it came out, there was no way. And then, I don't know. That's an interesting point. I had more that I was gonna say on a different point, but
I would have, you know, as much shit I get from Josh about Civil War being the better movie than BVS, I still liked BVS.
Okay.
I still like BVS. Like, just because I prefer one movie over there doesn't mean I don't hate the other movie. I like both movies. Sure, I think one is, like, in my mind, one movie is better than the other, like, quality in terms of what I enjoy more. But I still very much like both movies. I like BVS Ultimate Edition. I don't like the theatrical cut. All that.
There is no theatrical cut. That movie doesn't exist to me.
What are you talking about, man? That's the one that made the money.
Unfortunately.
But
I'm like, Marvel.
Show.
Yeah, Marvel's releasing freaking Endgame. The movie's like 3 hours. Freaking WB was like, oh yeah, we
can't. We need 2 hours for Justice League.
Get out of here, man.
What was I gonna say? I forgot. What was I just
I have
rambling about?
the like rewrites and stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, no, I feel like I was on a different point, but I'll let you talk while I try to remember what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's just I think now I'm going blank, man.
Yeah, dang it.
No, I wish that we could have gotten this Justice League. It makes sense that we didn't, but just what I
Oh
want
yeah,
to like get it.
yeah. I remember. I'm sorry. This
Oh yeah.
is like there's so much to like unpack
Digest.
about
Yeah.
all this, but you know, one thing that Zack Snyder pointed out in this charity event, and I don't think Josh said it unless he did, but you know, someone was, I forgot what the exact question was, but Zack like went on to go say, you know, he was talking about how you know, how people got mad that Batman kills and all that, and like what
Yes.
which is another topic for discussion, but you know.
Oh no, we're talking about this today. Like,
Okay,
no,
we'll talk
we're
about it
not-
today. But he,
talking about it
in that same conversation, he says like, "Look, I like going to the Avengers movies and all that, but you have to be open-minded, or like you have to have an open mind for other things out there," which I think had DC's like, look, we're not going to deny Marvel has been successful for the movies that they've been putting out, and I really enjoy all the Marvel movies to a degree, but I think it was like DC didn't have to do the same exact thing as Marvel. What DC was doing with Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, they were going in a completely different direction, which I think was a smart idea because they want to be different. They want to have their own identity, which is I think was important, especially around the time that, you know, Man of Steel and BVS were coming out. They were trying to establish, you know, their own like footing. Instead, what happens is we hear this all the time. Warner Brothers is a very reactionary studio, and they're like, "Oh, that didn't work. Let's change it up completely." Like all we heard from when they were shooting Justice League, like when Zack Snyder was on board, they were constantly rewriting scenes over scenes. Like they had to go back and shoot the scene they shot like 2 weeks ago again. Like they had on-set writers all the time. Like this sounded like a nightmare of a production from the beginning. And, you know, that's like very unfortunate that we never got to see what Zack Snyder was doing. I would have loved to have seen it again. But it's just kind of, you know, it's kind of a bummer that, like, you know, Warner Bros. Was all in after Man of Steel. They gave Zack Snyder carte blanche to do whatever he wanted on Batman vs. Superman. And, you know, the movie, you know, did what it did, got the response that it did. And, you know, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that it's still kind of with my point earlier. It would have been better for them to follow through with what he had planned, do the movies that he wanted to do, and like you said, it was something so different from what anyone else was doing, and then they would have been their own thing, and it would have been done. Like, the Dark Knight trilogy doesn't have any impact on anything that comes after it, or like DC films that come after it. The different Spider-Man movies that we've gotten don't impact any of the current Spider-Man movies now. You know, they're just their own thing, and that's what this could have been. And it would have been this extremely epic Lord of the Rings, but with DC's greatest superheroes. And it just, I would have loved to have that so much. And then, yeah, just like you said, instead of sticking to that vision and doing that, like, I mean, I love me some dark and gritty, I'll totally admit it. It's definitely like what I would prefer, but
Same.
so for them to like go from that and then try to please everyone, including the people that hated it, instead of, you know, keeping the fans that did love the movies already happy, they tried to make something to please everyone and ended up with something that pleases no one, really. Like, I think I can agree that most people don't think Justice League is a good movie.
I haven't met a single person that says, "Oh man, I like Justice League. That's a great movie."
Justice League is my favorite comic book movie of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Like,
literally like
you check yourself into a mental facility if you actually think.
I mean, all film is subjective, but like,
yeah, but
movie's
Justice
butt.
League's objectively pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
just-
cheeks, dude.
I can't watch it. It makes me so angry, and a lot of it is because, like you were saying, they literally, it sucks because Snyder finished shooting. Because, like we said earlier, he did obviously, like, the Justice League that he shot is different from what his original script was.
right.
But even the script and the film that he shot, I would love to see because it's so much different than the film that we got in theaters. Like they reshot most of the movie, and you can tell. Like I can just sit there and while the movie's playing, I can be like, oh, reshoot.
Yeah, a lot of those reshoots really took me out of the movie. Like looking at a case of Rogue One, which
Honestly,
had a lot of reshoots. You can't tell like Rogue One was also reshot a lot. With just like you could tell like Fantastic Four, but worse.
the thing is like the color grading played a massive part. Like he tried to, like in some sequences, like I remember when Bruce goes to visit Barry, in like his like in that specific scene when he starts talking about brunch. It's so apparent that he tried to capture that Zack Snyder-esque feel, and it just looked so bad. And I was just like,
Did you know that the opening, like not the Superman shit in the beginning, but when Batman interrogates that one dude was a reshoot?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I could tell.
Okay.
One, because it just leaves the dude just tied up on a roof.
Yeah, and then also it's just one of the color grading makes it stick out, and then also one of the things like you were talking about with Ben is that Ben's not in Batman shape in the reshoot.
Oh, for sure.
And you can also tell he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
he's not.
You could tell you could tell from the wigs, like his beard, like in the opening when he visits Aquaman. You could tell the beard is different in some shots. Like they didn't.
He looks not as fit in the suit. He's just kind of like a little.
Yeah,
bit
his cheeks look like a little chubby in the cowl and stuff like that. So I mean,
but that movie was kind of more or less is what Warner's wanted. They wanted the fun team up movie. They wanted their version of the Avengers, like the fun blockbuster romp.
Do that after and from the ground up. That's why it's so bad, is because they literally we have this movie that is not wholly even Joss Whedon movie or a Marvel movie, and it's not wholly Zack Snyder, because there is some elements of Snyder still in there, and then of course a lot of Whedon in the reshoots. So there's just this Frankenstein of a movie that is just not one thing or the other, and kind of this terrible in between. And then not only that, in not finishing the original plan, we're now in this awkward position where everyone wants to forget about that movie, including the studio, but we have characters like Wonder Woman and Aquaman who are highly profitable, and they're gonna want to continue making movies for them, but they have roots in Justice League, obviously. And then we also have the other two big ones, which Batman, who's being recast now, that one's more or less okay, just because he'll be on his own for a while. Whenever they try to integrate him later, I have no idea how they're going to do it. It gives me a headache to think about.
Especially with the movie supposedly taking place in 91.
That's the thing that makes my head really I don't know how they're going to do it, so that'll be interesting. But for the time being, Batman's kind of fine. But yeah, Henry Cavill, as much as I hope and think that he wants to stay in the role, is definitely questionable. He's just doing more and more different things now, and WB doesn't seem to have much interest in doing a Superman solo.
Which is why Cavill went on to do The Witcher in the first place.
They don't have a plan.
Yeah.
And so it just we're in this awkward place where Ben's out, Henry might be out, Ezra Miller of his script for The Flash that he's turning in with Grant Morrison, which please let them pick that. But if they don't pick that, he's probably out. But
the problem is Warner Brothers, back onto that Ezra Miller thing. Warner's really likes the script that I'm going blank on the director's name, who were also writing the script. But
John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein.
Yeah, who wrote Homecoming and Game Night. Warner Brothers really likes that script, and I don't know why they're allowing Ezra Miller to do something like that. It's just weird and bizarre.
It's because he has a lot of pull for the studio. He's a big face in the studio, and then
he's a Dumbledore, for crying out loud, in their other franchise.
I would love to see his version of the script, because you can just tell how much he knows and cares about the character, and then also the fact that he brought in Grant Morrison, who's total bias here, but one of my favorite comic writers, and I think he's a genius. Wrote a big run on The Flash too, so definitely knows his stuff. But and then like I said earlier, he wanted a darker and more serious version compared to the script that they got. So of course I lean in towards that more. But either way, his contract ends in May, and so. Do
you think Warner Brothers is going to actually renew it though?
That's the thing. If they like his script enough, maybe. But if not, then no, he's probably out. And then apparently the same thing is to be said for Ray Fisher's Cyborg, which they have no plans for a Cyborg movie.
For sure.
Between now and May, starting production or anything like that. So probably out. So you have most of the league that's not there now as far as cast, but you have these two that have to be, and then you have movies which I'm happy that they're focusing more on the individual movies, even though I don't agree with the critique that Justice League didn't work because it didn't have solo movies before it. I don't think that's.
I mean, no, you can. A lot of movies have a lot of ensembles as long as you do it properly.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And Justice League just wasn't done properly for a lot
Right.
of reasons.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I like where we're at now. Like I'm excited for all the movies that we're getting, but it just still leaves us in this awkward position of how connected things are and what they want to do with certain characters, and it's weird. And they could have totally avoided it, but now we're here.
Now we're here.
I don't know. I'm mixed about it because, like I said, I'm excited for a lot of the movies. But
Have you seen
I would
Shazam
definitely-
yet? Or
Yes, I have.
oh, Josh hasn't seen it yet.
I know. Don't
I won't say a lot,
fucking rub it in.
but it's fantastic.
It's really great, but yeah,
Yeah. Oh, you've seen it too? Yeah, that's right. You saw it.
I saw it, but.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Whatever. Josh, you're the only one here. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
should we just talk about like that one? I'm just joking.
No, yeah, it's really good though. I
Yeah.
like Shazam a lot.
So like, DC clearly wanted a different direction from the start. So
Yeah, and they should have established that. Like they should have fucking known that.
Mhm.
That's one of the things. That
there should have been a
makes me-
compromise between Zack Snyder and the studio, not like this.
Miscommunication at
Yeah.
its finest.
Yeah,
Exactly.
straight up.
Like-
Miscommunication and knee-jerk reactions and trying to please everyone, which is just not possible.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Like,
yeah, it became like this big nightmare of a mess, and like, literally, Justice League was doomed from the start, from day one of like
Yeah.
when Snyder was involved. Day one, it was doomed. But should we also talk about the whole Batman
thing?
Batman
Yes.
killing
Yes,
thing?
I was actually. I was actually. I wanted someone to bring that up.
Yeah, let's do it. Who's
Oh.
who's going?
Oh,
Who's going
oh,
first?
Oh wait. So am I quoting it? Okay.
Yeah, quote it. Yeah,
I mean,
go for it.
Um, Okay. So, wait, Alex, do you want to do it?
no, I don't have it pulled up.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. So yeah, basically, this is basically what Batman. This is what Zack Snyder
This is
said.
what
He said, "I'm 100% fine with it." He said, "It's a cool point of view to be like, my heroes are still innocent. My heroes didn't lie to America. That's cool, but you're living in a fucking dream world." So basically, he was saying people who think that like he doesn't understand the character of Batman because he kills, like they need to just like grow up and move on and like stop bitching and complaining because this is the quote unquote their Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have more thoughts on it before I get into mine, but I have thoughts.
Yeah.
for it.
Okay.
Go
So
for it.
So this is how I've seen it. This is how I see it. Beside from Batman and Robin, and yes, I'm including the Adam West because I actually watched the clip recently.
Hey.
Every single live action Batman has killed in his movies.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Michael-
actually.
A lot of people. Michael Keaton, Adam West, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. All of a sudden now, because Zack Snyder's Batman kills, it's a problem. I don't remember seeing anyone, and I mean like no one, complain about Christian Bale basically gunning Talia down in that truck and then just like leaving her to die.
Which
No,
is
like no one cared.
And there's, one of the ones that sticks out for me with Christian Bale, because I actually watched these pretty recently. He blows up an entire monastery full of ninjas and prisoners. Like,
yeah. But that
Like
was
refusing
that was also technically. Oh yeah, after refusing to kill
to
that one.
execute someone, he blows up the entire place. And like, the way I was remembering it, I was like, oh, it's probably not like that bad. But no, whenever I rewatched it, like they explicitly show people being blown up. Like,
They didn't make it out.
Yeah.
yeah, he directly kills like pretty much everyone in there.
And I also want to point out in Batman Returns, Batman put that bomb on that one dude. I mean, it's been a while
And he
since.
smiled.
And he smiled.
And then he kicked him down a manhole.
Yeah, which is a great scene. I like Batman Returns is a weird movie, but that was like one of the greatest scenes in the movie.
And I think in OG Batman, the 1989, he like lights a guy on fire with,
Yeah.
with the Batmobile.
He
Like
does that. He blows up an entire factory with people I'm pretty sure still inside.
Yeah,
like in live action, Batman has just been a straight murderer. Like even I think
Yeah.
in Batman's first appearance in comics, he hangs like a mental patient from the Batwing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's not the first. I don't think that's the first one, but it's really early on. Yeah, he straight up killed people at the very beginning. Like,
And I totally get it. Like the Batman that I grew up with, the Batman animated series, some of the Batman comics that I read, Batman didn't kill. Like, yeah, I think it's it's a nice oath to have. It's a nice
code
line
of
to not
conduct to
cross.
have.
Yeah, I totally get it because like there's a particular quote that Batman has, and he says like when you kill a killer, the number of killers in the world still remains the same because you become a killer. I totally get that, but because this
Unless
movie
you
doesn't
kill, like,
follow
50 killers.
Yeah.
then there's-
yeah, unless you kill like 50, 75 killers, then obviously the number goes down a bit. But just because this version of Batman doesn't fit the version of Batman that I grew up with, doesn't mean that I'm gonna bitch and complain on the internet about, oh, this isn't my Batman. Batman doesn't kill. Yes, Batman doesn't kill. In that version, not every version of Batman needs to be the same, and this is where directive freedom comes into play when we can get different versions of characters. Like, if we only had only one version of a character, we'd never get Superman Red Sun. We would never get like freaking different versions of
Like
Batman,
Gaslight.
Batman Beyond. I'm perfectly fine with Batman killing. Like, would I prefer it? Not necessarily, but you're not going to see me getting up in arms about it. This isn't the exact Batman that I grew up with. This isn't the Batman that was on the Batman animated series show, you know? So,
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me that much that
Yeah.
he kills.
It doesn't either for me. I know Twitter was really like,
Still
Dude,
is.
people
upset.
were getting straight offended, like, that was so rude. How in the world could he say that? Like, shut the fuck up, dude. It's not that serious. Get over it.
it's not that serious. Like, come on.
Someone straight up said that he did that because of Zack Snyder's response, that he doesn't understand the character. And I'm pretty sure Alex is gonna mention this, but Zack Snyder pretty much explains in BVS why Batman kills. This is the lowest we have ever seen him. He's lost a Robin. He's lost friends. Like,
This is a different. This is like an older, grittier Batman.
yeah, it's an older, grittier Batman. Like he's really, this is the dark Batman, and he kills. And then once he kind of he finds out that Superman has a mother, and like he has a form of humanity within him. He kind of sees Superman saving his mother as like some sort of like redemption, and him trying to crawl out of that dark place that he's been in this entire. So, yeah, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on this. I'm gonna try to organize them in a pretty logical way. Yeah, I wrote like a little over 2,300 words on like Batman and BVS like a week and a half ago.
Jeez, I have not read it yet.
Because of the anniversary is actually today as we're recording.
Oh, is
but-
it? Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
3-year anniversary. So, but yeah, I love. Okay, first off, I would definitely consider myself a diehard Batman fan. I can't remember a time I didn't like absolutely love everything about him. But yeah, I first off am not opposed to Batman killing. My main thing with it is if it serves the story well, then by all means. My number one thing when it comes to most media, especially when it comes like comics, regular novels, TV shows, movies, games, whatever, like for me, like I love the story. And so if the story is something compelling and good, I'm pretty okay with basically anything that happens in it. Like it should serve the greater purpose in that regard. And so when it comes to Batman killing, I take that stance in pretty much every interpretation. Like whenever I see him do it, I'm like, okay, why? Like what has made Batman get to this point where he is killing now? Because I mean, like we said, even though he did and has killed in comic appearances before, like in the main canon, he did it first too, and has become a sort of modern staple for Batman that he doesn't kill. He doesn't cross that line. He'll put you in a body cast for the rest of your life, or paralyze you from the neck down, and leave you beaten within an inch of your life. But he won't kill you. So, which is a whole other thing that I think is just absolutely ridiculous that no one talks about. Like he definitely does that, and then also in the comics, totally kills people indirectly too. It just happens off screen, so we don't ever talk about it. Like I reread a book recently, and he straight is driving the Batmobile through buildings. People definitely had to die there. But so yeah, it's just Batman in what he does causes a lot of damage and a lot of collateral damage. That's something that can't be avoided. And like you said, it's happened in all of the live action movies before this. I think the main reason that it hasn't ever been a complaint, I mean, I have to say it's because of Zack Snyder is one of the ones at the helm. I hate like using that as a reason, but I think that it is an actual reason for it. But then it's also because the other films don't make a point about it. is part of the point of this movie, that this Batman is that brutal. I mean, like you were saying, this is a world-weary, beaten, broken Batman who has been through more than anything we've seen. Like you said, he's lost a Robin. He spent 20 years in Gotham fighting criminals, and then he has this god fall from the sky, basically, that can destroy everything, levels Metropolis, kills thousands, including a lot of people that he's close to and feels responsible for. And this movie opens with the two most traumatic things in his life. Arguably, the 2 out of 3. I'd say that the third would be the death of Robin. And we see those back to back. And so we immediately understand the motivation that he has for this movie and his hatred for Superman. And so at that point, the movie, like you said, Joss, it establishes and illustrates that Batman has crossed this line, that it's happened recently. Alfred is vocally against it the entire movie. He's telling Batman that he's, gone too far. And like we can see that as the audience too, that he's obviously stepped over this line. And like you said, with the fight with Superman and him realizing that Superman, is capable of having a mother, that he, even though he's an alien, like he's human, and Bruce realizing that he's become the thing that he wanted to fight against. Like he realizes that and starts his arc for redemption. And like, granted, people are like, yeah, but he kills people in the warehouse scene after that too. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I'll give you that one. But I think one of the things too is Batman in this doesn't really straight up like murder people. Like I would definitely call it manslaughter in a lot of them, but like he's not going out there with the intent to, he's not like, I'm gonna kill all of these people. Like he's like, I'm gonna go get the job done, and what happens kind of happens. Like
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
It's not straight up like, oh, I'm gonna go execute all of these guys. Like it's just, oh, that sucks.
They're in the way. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, and so it's just like that's another thing for me about it, and it's just, yeah, and so I think that it's mainly been a big deal in this because it is so at the forefront of what the story is. But it's explained in there so well, like it's illustrated throughout the film why he's at the point that he's at. How much Alfred disagrees with it too, and that can be taken as the point of view of the audience. He's not the hero that we know. There's so much.
He's changed, and from the beginning, like even in the comics, next to Punisher, Batman is the most broken, like character in comics. Next to the Punisher, I'd say. But like, it depends like how broken you make Batman from the get go. And what Zack was doing from the beginning was making Batman the most broken he's ever been, because he's been like through what you said, through a dead Robin, probably a lot of fights with the Joker, mental torment, all that. And age definitely changes you. It changes like every philosophical thing you see, and being Batman and going through such psychological things as from when you're a kid, it like fucking torments you for life.
Yeah, it fucks you up. Like there's no other way to put that, really. Like it just, and it having such a big impact on him. Like, and then I love even to the line whenever he's saying like 20 years in Gotham, like how many good guys are left and how many stayed that way. Like he's even talking about himself.
He's talking about himself. He's talking about like literally everything he's tried to fix, like has gone to shit probably.
And he feels like literally everything that he's done has no consequence when Superman shows up, and he sees just the raw power that he has. He's like, well, I haven't really done shit, I guess.
You say criminals are like weeds.
Yeah. So it just, there's so much there, and there's so many reasons that I love this version of Batman. And I mean, he does straight up kill people, but it's just, I don't think that you can say that that Zack doesn't have a fundamental understanding of the character. Like he definitely does.
He definitely does. I'd argue that Ben Affleck's Batman is the best on-screen Batman we've had.
Oh, by far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But besides even the whole like the narrative of his story, just literally the look of him and what he does, like, he's perfect.
He's the only actor that I have seen, aside from Kevin Conroy, who can pull off the Bruce Wayne and Batman personas perfectly. Like Ben Affleck, I actually buy that he's a billionaire. Like he comes across as like this.
What about
cocky
the amazing George Clooney, man?
Hi, Freeze.
Doesn't even bother to change the voice.
He's George Clooney. He doesn't need to.
I think that one of the things with Ben, whenever he's playing Bruce, especially, is that like I forget that it's Ben Affleck. Like I see Bruce Wayne, and that's such a big thing for him to be able to like get past that. He's such a big name and like a big star, and so for him to be able to do that is huge. But yeah, there's some, and I think that, like I was saying, Zach has to have a fundamental understanding in order to get to the point with the character that he does in this. Like, and Batman still at this is to the core. Like, I think that before above anything else, I guess Batman is the drive and the force to prevent what happened to him in that alley from happening to anyone else. It's nice whenever I like the idea of him not killing it all whenever he does that, but I mean, to quote Zach, sometimes, you know, living in a fucking dream world there, like a lot of shit happens that is kind of out of his control that could be caused by him. And so, yeah, I don't know. I like it. I totally lost my train of thought halfway through there.
Because I like that, and it's not just with Batman. He does it with Superman as well. He shows that these heroes aren't perfect.
Yeah.
They have flaws.
It's the Watchmen philosophy. The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Because I mean, like, yes, they have all these fantastic powers and they have these abilities and they have all of these tools at their disposal, and we as an audience kind of see them as larger than life. But I mean, obviously, I've never killed anybody, and I don't think you guys have either.
Okay, there,
but
Josh.
It shows that they have shit that they struggle with. Like, they have their own inner demons that they fight with, and we're basically. BVS was us kind of like seeing them slowly kind of make their rise out of that to become better, to be better. But the only way to do that is you had to break them down to their core, which is why Superman is so unsure of himself. He's insecure. He's upset because he's just trying to do the right thing, but everyone keeps criticizing him. Everyone keeps ridiculing him. If he started out at one of the biggest complaints that people have about Superman is that he is not a relatable hero, but Zack Snyder gave him attributes that we've all struggled with: insecurity, uncertainty, stuff like that. So he makes him relatable. He makes him likable. He makes him a character that people can connect and relate to. So I feel like he did the same thing with Batman. You know, so I'm perfect. I love the way. I need to watch BVS again. I might do it tonight, dude. Low-key. I love that
Ultimate
film.
Edition only.
Yeah, there is no other edition.
You know what? Just watch the theatrical. Just watch the theatrical.
Actually, you know what, dude? I actually watched that on a flight to California last year. I just couldn't do it. I was like, this is just not.
The difference 30 minutes can make. The difference.
Especially the 30 minutes they took out. Like, it's so crucial to the story, honestly. I can't believe they did it.
Yeah. Botched. Completely botched. That's...
Yeah, I wish we could have gone the Justice League thing. I love Ben's Batman. So.
Yeah, I do too, and it sucks.
I think with this whole Q&A thing kind of, you know, coming and going without any kind of Snyder cut thing, like I officially think it's being put in the coffin. Nail it in. I think it's over.
I think it's been over since, you know, I don't know, like it's been over for a very long time.
I saw someone say that WB feels the pressure of fans begging them to release the Snyder cut, but the thing is, like, Warner Brothers wants to move on.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna want to go back to a film that they know is probably better than the one that they released in theaters. And of course, you know, Kevin Sujihara is not there anymore, which is a good thing because he's the one who mandated the 2-hour runtime.
And he's done some pretty despicable things. That's neither here or there. But
yeah, well, I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah,
but like be that as it may, I want to see it, but I don't think that they go back to it.
But the thing is, like, you know, if they ever did release it, like, then what? Like,
exactly.
Like, you're not doing anybody favors. Then all people's gonna ask about is, oh, where's Justice League 2? Zack Snyder released the Justice League 2 from, you know, so and so. It's just never gonna stop at this point.
I don't know. I think that it's possible in like 15 plus years. I'll still hold that position.
You got way more optimism than me, man.
I think that I'm looking at it honestly from a business standpoint because I think that the biggest chance that we had for a while was if it wasn't going to happen with the home release, then like we're not going to get it for at least 15 years. But it's not unheard of for a release like that to happen. I know. I mean, like I mentioned this in the chat earlier, but like the Donner cut of Superman 2 came out like 20 years after the fact.
Right.
And I know that wasn't part of a connected universe and things like that, but I think that they have the movie basically done. I know Zach has said that like the cut exists. It's just whether or not WB wants to do anything with it. And I think that if enough time passes, depending on the state of where the films are, like even if they're still going on, I think 15 years from now they'll be far enough removed. I mean, the MCU hasn't been around for that long, and think about how different things are like on that side. I think that you could release this version of the movie. I think it'd be such an easy cash grab. Like they would make a lot of money on it, and it would require pretty minimum effort, and it would get a lot of people to shut up, and you don't have to follow it up with anything really. You're just like, okay, well, here's this cut that everyone wanted, and you can finally have it, and also give us millions of dollars, because that's basically what would happen like for it. And so, I don't know. I can see it happening eventually, not anytime soon, because I mean, like you said, Josh, it would definitely be a better version of what we got, and I don't think they would like to actively anytime soon release a movie like that, because it's basically them just being like, yeah, we totally fucked this up, here's the version we should have put out. But that's why I think that after a while it's possible, 15-20 years maybe, I don't know.
But would anybody even care at that point?
I think so. I mean, people cared about the genre cut still, and then the Blade Runner
No, but like,
cut came out in like 2006.
The thing is that we're in a cinematic universe now. We're in the cinematic universe game now. Like literally, Shazam is the second movie post Justice League, and then Joker's not in the DCU. I don't think.
I don't think that has any like hold on it really though, because it would be so removed from that. Like,
it would kind of be seen as like an Elseworld type deal, I guess.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I just don't understand, especially if it's that many years.
I think I just thought of something too.
So did I.
I think I just thought of something. You want to?
DC's literally, Warner Brothers literally just like unveiled, like they're not officially unveiled, but like
streaming service, right?
Joker's not streaming service.
Never mind.
No, DC just the Joker movie is technically under the DC Elseworlds like thing. What if they released the movie under that umbrella? Then you have a little bit of leeway. Of course, you know, if you've got freaking Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller in it, and all those people that are in films that are in the DCEU, there might be a little bit of confusion there, but you might be able to get away with releasing it there.
See, I
maybe
think that they could just release it in however long and be like, okay, here's this thing. Don't think too much about anything that could come after, because nothing's coming after. Like I think it would just be its own like movie, just to, you know, make some money and then also please the people that want it.
I think.
Because you don't have to do it, especially after like 15 or 20 years. Like, what are you gonna do with it then? It's not like it'll have any impact on anything that's happening now. Like, more shit will have gone down in the universe if it's still around than what we've seen in Marvel so far. And so, I don't know. I don't really think it would hold too much sway as far as...
The thing I was thinking about was, like, whether it be, you know, the DC streaming service or the service that Warner Brothers is launching, the Warner Brothers streaming service. There's too many goddamn streaming services nowadays.
So much money.
Just randomly out of nowhere. Just on the little queue. I think it'd probably be on the Warner Brothers streaming service. Just randomly on like, no announcement, no nothing. All you just see, like, in the queue, what's new on the streaming service. Random pop-up, Justice League, the director's cut. Just randomly, unfinished director's cut or something.
I'll tell you what though, if Warner Brothers, when they launch a new service, if they really want to get people to sign up,
that'd be it.
Would let that be like a day one release.
That's like what I was thinking.
Justice League. I was just call it Justice League Ultimate Cut or Justice League Director's Cut, whatever.
Just call it like the Justice League. Yeah, something.
Do you have any idea how many people? They probably crash the app. They probably crash the service.
Yeah. At least they'd get a good number. Like, unlike, you know, I don't know a good example.
But the thing is, like, if that movie ends up being, like, phenomenal, like, amazing, Warner Brothers is still not going to hear the end of it.
Oh, that's true.
So.
I don't know.
It's a win-lose, really. So.
What about on the DC? Oh, sorry.
See, this just goes back to they should have just let him finish his original vision. None of this would be a problem.
Yeah.
Zero.
Right.
A lot of people would be pissed off because they wouldn't like the movies, but they don't like the fucking movies we have now.
Don't watch it. So. No, but don't watch them then.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people hated the Amazing Spider-Man movies too, and those are fucking fine. They're just their own thing. Whatever. I love those movies.
Andrew Garfield's still the best Spider-Man.
I like the first Amazing Spider-Man. I think the second one's dog shit.
Andrew Garfield is my favorite. Yes, and I like him better than fucking
Toby.
Tom Holland.
Oh.
Tom Holland's a good Spider-Man, but to me he's not better than Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield is a great Spider-Man, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 is dog shit.
I have a hot take. Tobey Maguire ain't that good as Spider-Man.
Oof.
I think it's
You can go ahead
fine.
and get the pitchforks now.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
I mean I think he's fine, but I think Garfield and Holland are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're all great for their respected for their respected
like
time.
I'll
I like
debate that
Tobey's-
on the Tobey one. But
I like Toby's Peter. His Spider-Man's just a little.
No, I like
His
his
Spider-Man's bland.
I like his Spider-Man. I
whole-
don't like his Peter that much. So I feel the opposite.
I can't
Yeah.
even
So
rewatch those movies.
I rewatched them recently. They hold up kind
Dude,
of.
They do not.
The first one does not hold
I'm
up. The second
sorry,
one
no.
kind of holds up.
None of them hold up. I can't deal with them.
Spider-Man. I watched Spider-Man 2 somewhat recently.
I tried to rewatch even the like cool scenes from Spider-Man 2 like on YouTube, and I was like, I can't even finish this video.
Also, pretty big hot take here. I might piss off somebody or some or not or all. Spider-Man 3 is not as bad as everyone says it is.
I mean,
It's-
I'll agree
it's
with
not.
that.
Yeah,
I
actually,
agree with that.
Oh.
I don't like those movies that much, but I agree with that.
Okay. Glad we're on the same page. Glad we don't have to whip out.
I actually really like Spider-Man 3.
Like obviously like I have some problems with the movie, but it's not like the worst movie ever made or whatever. Like
No, not by a long shot.
yeah, but
I love how we ended up on Spider-Man.
Yeah. Hey, man.
but okay.
Oh, well.
So to wrap this episode up, I guess any final thoughts on this whole? This was like literally like the longest we've talked about a subject on the show so far. So any like wrap ups about this whole Justice League debacle?
Can we get Cyborg and Flash to travel back in time and put us on the timeline where we get Zack's original vision?
Oh, I have one more question regarding this whole fucking Justice League shit. So is Wonder Woman and Aquaman dead at this point?
Okay, so
In the
yeah,
nightmare future?
Like
I think
Yeah, I think they are dead.
eventually, because I think that it would happen probably around halfway or a little bit more into the movie. They would be taken out because I think that I would imagine that he wanted to get the league as low on members as possible while still being able to execute the final plan and like final attempt at defeating Darkseid with the time travel and
Mhm.
stuff. So I think that they would be gone then, but I think they'd be in a pretty good chunk of the first movie, and then they'd obviously come back in part.
Yeah, they were gonna come back, but I like because like Zach talked about half a cyborg, which is weird. Like,
Yeah.
So, and then he talked about like I was like, oh, I didn't hear Wonder Woman or like Flash in that.
But I mean, we know that they definitely had a pretty big role in the original plan. They have a presence on that shirt
Right.
that he had, which I'm actually wearing. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. So I think they were involved still, but probably towards the end of the first movie they died.
Yeah, sucks. Josh,
I don't know.
any final
I'm
thoughts? Any final thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, no, it's a shame that WB got scared and completely revamped Zack's entire vision because, like, just hearing him discuss the brief bit that he did, I was watching the live stream and my mouth was open the entire time. I was like, when he said that Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave to kill Lois,
Which was nuts
I
in and
lost
it's
my shit.
I
Like-
saw the clip because I didn't watch the live stream. Like, I didn't watch the live stream, but I saw the clip that was released to YouTube from the live stream where all you could just hear from the audience is "What the fuck."
Dude, yeah, because he just casually dropped that shit. He was like, yeah, and then they just have to do it before Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave and murders Lois. And you're like, wait, what the
The
fuck
fuck?
did you just say?
Exactly!
Like,
He's like, yeah. So by the way, this is just like an afterthought. Darkseid was gonna kill Lois.
Darkseid, and then also like it's me being the huge Batman fan. I'm like, Darkseid's gonna be in the fucking Batcave. Like, are you?
Oh yeah, that was yeah.
That's
100%.
So epic.
Yeah.
I just-
In the worst circumstances, by the way.
but I mean, still,
Yeah.
It would have just as a fan of these characters, it just would have been amazing to see just
Mhm.
Darkseid just casually walking into the Batcave, killing Lois, and then leaving.
I love Zack style so much, and to see to have seen what he had planned for all of this, I love Batman v Superman so damn much, and it would have been nothing compared to like the craziness and epicness that he had planned for this, and like it just hurts my heart, and I'm forever bitter. But
I don't of course I'll find a way to move on, but like I will never forget all of this. Like this is just so much untapped potential for something that like
Could have been epic.
oh yeah, exactly. It could have been a phenomenal and
We were robbed.
like yeah, we were absolutely robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the PP got cold feet. They wanted to pander to the audience that didn't like BVS. Oh, we need a lighthearted movie. We need like scary stuff. We need more family friendly, quote unquote. I don't know, man. My family loves BVS, so I don't know what the fuck they talking about.
I mean, it's still the majority of people still didn't like BVS. That movie should have made $1 billion. Or it had to. It
The
had.
fact that it still made 867 million on a like 20%. I hate Rotten Tomatoes, but people do use it as a barometer. And so the fact that it came out to the reception that it did, it still made that much money.
Mm-hmm. But if you looked at the reports, Batman vs Superman barely broke even. Apparent, like from the reports, like the actual like the budget of the marketing, the budget of the production, it barely cracked even.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that it made more than cracking even, but
I don't know. That's for a different time. But damn, we were robbed, man. I feel.
I've sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I know Josh has talked about it. I've seen a lot of people say it, but suggesting that his original plan be turned into either animated films or graphic novels. I think that would be dope. I would love to see the story.
Yeah, because doesn't he draw his movies, right? Like he storyboards
he
himself.
Storyboards?
Yeah, he storyboards them themselves. Like I think I want to see a documentary about the making of Justice League, where it was conceived from Zack Snyder's head to what we got in the theater. I want to see a documentary about that.
So basically, like the death of Superman Lives.
Yeah, kind of like that, something like that.
It just, yeah. So like, I mean, like he draws literally every frame, and so it's not like there's not enough of reference for everything, and so. Yeah, I'd like to see it either as like an animated movie or do like 6 like premium format graphic novels. Like do ones for Man of Steel and BVS, you know, like get those and then just continue the vision as it was originally going to be. It's a long shot. I don't think we'll ever get anything like that. I just want to see this in some form other than him, you know, briefly talking about it. Fuck, give us the script. I'll take the original script at this point. Leak it online. Just let me read that shit.
I do too, man. He probably, I think in the live stream, he mentioned that he has it, like it's on his shelf or something like that.
Bro, just casually leak it.
Yeah, just like it's on my shelf, you know, this thing you'll never see. But, fuck, what was I going to say? Damn it, I forgot. Like, yeah, fuck it.
So many blanks on this episode.
Yeah. Like there's just so much to like discuss and like dive. Like there was just like he casually like just mentioned it too, like at this random Q&A too. Like he was like, oh yeah, like Darkseid was gonna boom tube into the fucking Batcave. Like he just casually dropped that as if we were supposed to know that.
Yeah.
And he said that just at the end. Like he was talking about all the time travel stuff, and he was like, yeah, and they were just gonna have to do that to where Batman shows up right before Darkseid boom tubes in and kills Lois. Okay.
Because he knew people would be like, what the fuck?
He had to know,
The
yeah.
reaction is so funny. It's so great.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, I guess I know I've said this probably a lot. Any other closing statements?
Nah, I've pretty much gotten everything out.
I mean, yeah, unless you want to hear me ramble for days, that probably
We're
cut
good.
it.
So that will do it for us. That was a very long episode, even though we've only talked about 2 things. One being the longest, of which I think that was probably the longest we talked about a topic on the show.
It's an important topic, man. You gotta let people know.
It's an important topic to let them know that we were robbed, unfortunately.
Hashtag we were robbed. Hashtag
we
we
were
Snyder cut.
So, Josh, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at DCU News. You can also find me on Twitter at Really Sharp. That is sharp with an E. Make sure you check out the Media Bite. All articles are written by us, and we don't clickbait shit. We got some cool editorials coming up as well. So yeah, just be on the lookout for all that cool content, man.
Awesome. Alex, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at APBatman with 2 T's. Just talk about comic stuff on there a lot. And then you can also find me on Twitch, actually, at like Twitch TV/APBatman. I need to be better about streaming on there, but I'm going through the Arkham games, so that's fun. And then, yeah, you can also find... What were you going to say, Jeff?
So, did you finally get the get Origins working?
I got it. I had some technical difficulties for a while, but it's but yeah, and then of course you can also I'm one of the writers for Media Bytes, so you can find a lot of my thoughts on different.
He's a
topics.
senior writer. Let's
Yeah.
get that
Senior
straight.
writer.
Get that title bump from there. But yeah, so I'm a
Yep.
senior writer for Media Bytes, so you can hear a lot of my thoughts on that. I've actually been reviewing Doom Patrol, which is phenomenal, by the way.
Still have to watch it.
Really good.
Highly recommend it.
I'm waiting for DC Universe to pump out more content onto the app before I get it. To be honest.
Well, Swamp Thing's coming out in May.
Yeah, I'll probably get it. I'll probably get it when Swamp Thing's coming up. I saw Titans though, and
I think that it's absurd that I can't get the app on my TV. Like,
it doesn't like cast or whatever.
no, it's still just not available on there. Like,
Oh, I think that's just a DC Universe thing. Like,
I
yeah,
have-
no, it's a DC Universe thing. Like, it's not available on like Samsung Smart TVs and like a bunch of other stuff.
I have Apple TV, so I can get it on there. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty blessed. I put up Doom Patrol on my 65-inch, bro.
Oh,
great.
aren't you cool with your Apple TV?
Doom Patrol just looks so rad. Like, it just looks pretty
Oh,
fucking
it's
awesome.
crazy. It's
The
insane.
budget, dude. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, but you can find me on social media at Pakibruh, Pakibruh, bruh, on Twitter and Instagram. And any closing remarks, guys? Josh really hates my username for whatever reason.
I really do.
He could not contain it.
I know. Every week he's like, I hate that username. Like,
Because
every
at
week.
the end he just goes, bruh.
Bruh.
It's like, golly, dude.
That's my sign off for every single show.
I didn't even realize that was your @ until just now. Like,
Really?
I never looked at it before. Yeah.
Damn. Any closing remarks, guys? Just like quick one-liner before we wrap up.
Forever bitter.
We were robbed.
Yeah.
I was about to say something. I want to keep it professional. I want to see Snyder's cut, man.
Josh, you always have one thing you want to say before we stop recording. And
Crazy
it's-
Jane is Bay, okay?
There we go.
All right.
I wanted to remind you.
Yeah, we even talked about Doom Patrol and you weren't gonna say
Yeah.
that. Come on.
Well, that will do it for us, guys. Until the next episode. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.